Thomond Park saw a clash of two teams steeped in Champions Cup lore. Mine is Mark. Let's talk rugby. Both the Fog and Munster got worse as this one went on. But early doors, Munster, they win a scrum penalty, set down a bit of a marker. You can see they're up for this. They've been improving in the last, basically last month, like the last few rounds of the URC and then the game against the South Africa 15 before that as well. And there was signs of shoots of growth before that match even as too. And you can see that in the way they played kind of in the first quarter or so. So they get a scrum penalty. You see everybody's happy with that. They make their way up the field. There's a big carry down from Coombs and Toulouse are pinged at the breakdown. Carby then goes for the posts. It looks pretty kickable, but he actually hits the post with it. So still level at that point. Munster starting off, actually their kicking I felt at the start of the match again was pretty good. Put up a lot of high kicks, trying to test the Toulouse back three in the Fog. And they were getting, some change out of it. They weren't getting any like big knock-ons or anything like that. But they were still making Toulouse be hesitant, I felt, after they caught the ball. And a lot of the ball that they kicked as well, Munster were able to run back to them. Then I have another penalty to Munster, kind of around the same area, but this time they decide let's kick to the corner rather than the posts. Scannell almost overthrows the line out, but Coombs stretches and kind of plucks it out of the air one-handed. He comes down, they set them all. Toulouse halt them all pretty much straight away. So Munster moved to point of contact. Coombs involved again. He gives some good momentum from a decent carry. They get close to the line and it's one of these where you're just waiting for someone to pick the gap. It's Carby that picks the gap. He goes over, converts it as well. So 7-0 to Munster after 10 minutes. Toulouse then have a spell of possession, but they're under immense pressure from Munster. Good rush defence from Munster, putting them on the back foot, not letting them get, too many strong carries either. And at that stage, their defence is looking pretty solid. And then we have like a very iconic image where at the next scrum, there's steam coming off the scrum and mixing with the Fog. And it's just showing you like rugby in winter. Just a great sight to see, really. From there then, Toulouse, they are kicking a lot of ball, but there's no real chase from them at this stage. Munster are able to pin them back in their own half. They're running a lot of the ball back as well. And yeah, Toulouse are kind of finding it hard to get out of their own half. But Munster are finding it hard to add to their early score as well. And one of the points where it wasn't a huge turning point, but it felt like Toulouse were starting to get a bit of momentum. They win a penalty at the scrum for Lockman hinging. And it's the first real attacking opportunity in the game. Munster, so they kick into the corner, they go for the maul. Munster claps the maul, so we're playing with penalty advantage. Toulouse then, they move the ball through the hands out to LaBelle, and he goes over in the corner. He was under pressure being tackled, but he stayed strong and was able to ground before he was pushed into touch. Ramos then, very sweet conversion kick from out on the touchline, brings us all square. And yeah, it felt like that scrum penalty just gave them something to build on, and they were ruthless, really. They, first real attack of the whole game, and they were able to square things up. We then have Dupont makes an amazing, mazy run. And he always puts Toulouse away. But Nash manages to intercept the ball and run it back. Nothing really comes of that. And as Munster attacking, Klein goes for a big carry, but he's pinged for holding on as Aldegaré is pilfering over the ball. Penalty to Toulouse. Ramos pops that one over for 10-7, so Toulouse hit to start. And already that Carby miss from earlier in the game is looking a bit costly, and it's about 10 minutes to half time now. Carby then, he tried to put like a little grubber through, but he kind of scuffs it, and it catches Capuozzo on his thigh and kind of throws into touch. So kind of lucky line out for Munster. And it's something we didn't really see from Munster today, was like a kicking game from them, really. They, as I said earlier on, they were putting the high balls up, trying to test Toulouse. They seem to abandon that after they went behind. And there wasn't really much in terms of, grubber kicks. This is, I think, the first I remember Carby trying was that one that went in for there. And no real, popping little balls over the top or anything like that either to try and keep them on their toes. And so from the line out then, Toulouse, they're able to halt them again. They're standing off the ruck as well, and they're kind of picking their time to compete. And when they're doing it, they're being pretty successful. Otherwise, they're not really committing men to the ruck. They're just soaking up Munster's attack and waiting for Munster to run out of ideas. Haley is getting a lot of run meters, but it's mainly returning kicks, and he returns a deep kick from Toulouse. And Toulouse trying to get in there again over the ball on this one, but they get pinged for not rolling away. And Carby is able to level up just before the halftime. And you kind of felt like that, Munster, for the possession they were having, they weren't really getting the rewards. Then into the second half, once it kicks off, you can see that the fog is definitely getting thicker, getting heavier, and they're on commentary, they're talking about what, at 60 minutes, what's going to happen if the game is abandoned, etc., etc. And Toulouse also lost Capuozzo at half time. Right though, at in the first few minutes of second half, Frisk makes a mistake and he knocks on a Toulouse kick. So Toulouse kind of reversing things by putting high kicks up for Munster to make mistakes from. And he knocks on. Toulouse kick it into touch for a 5-meter line out. Munster then, they're able to halt them all, but it's deemed illegal. So Toulouse are playing with advantage, but they don't really need it because Dupont pops the ball off to Townsend and he goes over in the corner. The conversion was missed, so we're at 15-10 at that point. And it seems pretty significant because from the first half and the way things are going in the second half, you can tell it's not going to be a high scoring game, and it's going to be, it's going to be a try or a penalty that's going to win it for one team or the other. So to nudge ahead at that stage, when Munster probably would have felt that they wanted a good start to the half to get their noses back in front, and the exact opposite happens to them instead. Munster then, you can see that errors are creeping into their game. They go for a a driving maul after penalty, but Toulouse are able to halt him. They get in amongst the Munster maul and they're able to turn the ball over. Munster then come back again, but Toulouse, again, they're picking the time to flood the ruck, and they do it this time again. They turn over again, and Munster, you feel they have to get something from this pressure. They're putting pressure on, but Toulouse are coming up with the big moments all the time. And it was the same all through the game. Like that, there wasn't one, like other than the try that they scored early doors, like when it really mattered, when, it was do or die, Munster didn't really come up with a big play. You didn't see like Tyg Byrne getting on over the ball and winning a penalty, or Peter O'Mahony doing the same, where you didn't see Peter O'Mahony getting up and nicking a line at a crucial time, or like, giving from a line out, giving one off the top so Munster could attack. It all seemed to be from them, like nothing spectacular, just kind of, I wouldn't say going through the motions is wrong words. It's more that they find it difficult to impose themselves on Toulouse, I feel. And we didn't see those big moments because of that. And another instance of that is like Munster piling on all this pressure to have a scrum, and Toulouse forced a penalty from the scrum. They get to clear, and that's a big moment for them. That's the kind of thing you were looking for from Munster as a Munster supporter, and they just weren't delivering. Then Toulouse worked their way upfield. Munster defence, in fairness to them, they are keeping them out, and they're not letting them get too many line breaks. So they decide to go back to Entomac for a drop goal attempt, but he's left them wide with that. We then have Mike Haley drops a high ball, which probably his first mistake of the day. Like they were kicking the ball to him the whole game, and most of the time he was collecting it, running it back, and trying to set something up for Munster. But this one he drops probably at a pretty crucial time when Munster are trying to get back and get that field position and build that pressure that they're going to need to score something to get back into the game. But instead, we have the drop. Toulouse then have a central scrum just inside the 22. They get a free kick at the scrum. They decide to go quickly. But the move breaks down and Munster are able to clear. Mistake from Toulouse there, really, I felt. I think it was definitely Dupont that went early, right? And he probably should have just calm head decided, let's take the penalty. Let's, either get 3 points to stretch the lead or go to the corner and try and kill this game. So a bit of luck there for Munster on that one. And you felt that, Munster needed to hang in for a bit at that stage, get that big moment and get that momentum shift, but it never really came for them. Munster then get pinged for side entry at a maul. Ramos misses to the right from the tee, and I just noticed around then that the crowd had gone fairly quiet, which you don't really see in Thomond Park for like a big European game like this. And not saying they were quiet the whole game, it was just very noticeable at that time that there was a lull in the crowd. And then it wasn't long after then you heard the cries of Munster, trying to G the guys up. But you could see that, the crowd were a bit worried there as well. Toulouse then, the kicking in this half is so much better than the first half, because first half, as I said, they were just kicking it down Munster's throat, easy for them to run it back. Now the kicks have, good direction on them. There's obviously a plan behind it as well. They're putting pressure on Munster as well. Like they're not able to catch it. and just run it back anymore. Then we have Ramos tried actually put in a poor kick that kind of stood out because of that, because they're kicking it improved so much. He goes for a banana kick for a 50-22, but he hits it out in the full. So another chance for Munster to produce something. To go through the phases from the line out. But there's one loose pass in there, and Toulouse straight away pounce. They kick the ball down the field. Jack O'Donoghue picks it up, decides to run it back. He gets isolated. Ramos then is able to pop the penalty over for 18-10. Less than 10 minutes left. So at this stage, you're thinking like, if Munster come back, this is going to be a famous victory for them, because they haven't produced anything since that their own try in the first half that would lead you to believe that there's a potential win in it for them from at this stage. Looks like they're probably just going to try and come back and get that losing bonus point. They do though get a bit of momentum, and Toulouse are pinged for playing the 9 at the ruck, and Carby puts that penalty over, brings Munster back within one score. But still, you kind of thinking, yeah, there's like they've got to do something different, and even when Duplan, deliberate knock on from him that prevented a Munster breakout. So he gets a yellow card. We've got only a few minutes left on the clock, maybe, 6 minutes or so left at that stage. Munster kicked up the field, trying to get into good position, but again, they're sloppy at the ruck, and it's a penalty to Toulouse. They kick it into the 22. Munster, again, they turn the ball over and they have a chance to attack from deep, but again, they don't protect the ball, and Toulouse are able to get the ball off the field, and the final score is 18-13. And really, yeah, just like from Toulouse' point of view, it's a great win to go to Thomond Park and get that win. Not many teams have done that in the Champions Cup over the years. And, starting out for them with a win away from home, and now they've got a game at home to come, they're probably, you probably think that they're through to the knockout stages at this point. Munster, their form has been improving, but it's going to have to get better for them to make. I think they will make the knockout stages, because there's so many places up for grabs that I think they will make the knockout stages. But for Munster and the way they view the Champions Cup, simply making the knockout stages and getting knocked out in the round of 16 will not be good enough for them. They're going to want to go deep into the tournament if they can, but it's going to have to be, better than what they produced in this game. I feel as well, as I said, they are building at the moment through the season. Got obviously new head coach in there and new coaches as well around the place, changing their style of rugby, and it's taking time to bed in. You can see that there are shoots there for them of improvement, but that's what they got to hope. They got to hope that they're going to be able to get themselves into the knockout stages, and then by the time the knockout stages come round, that they'll have improved enough to actually give someone a game. It's probably at this stage, they're looking at an away fixture if they do make the knockout stages, unless, on the travels they produce something magical. There probably will be one of the away teams. So it's going to have to be doing something good on the road in the last 16 to get themselves into the quarterfinal. And then if they are in form by then, all bets are off really when you get to the quarterfinals of this competition. Anybody can beat anybody else on their day. But for now, It's not going to be, it wasn't an impressive performance from them at all. Toulouse as well, not looking like world beaters, but doing enough to win. And that's a sign often of a champion team rather than a team that trounces somebody, that just being able to go there and get that win and stop Munster from playing. And that's what they were able to do. So definitely looking the better of the two teams after this one. And looking forward to seeing how these two go in the next round of games, because as I said, Toulouse are going to be at home. They're going to be favourites for their game. Munster are going to have to go away now and get something on the road as well. They can't just rely on winning their final home game